The ruins of World War II barely cooled when two superpowers, the United States and the Soviet Union, emerged from the ashes as ideological adversaries, setting the stage for nearly half a century of tension, proxy wars, and nuclear brinkmanship that would define the second half of the 20th century. As Soviet tanks rolled into Eastern Europe and Stalin's iron grip tightened around Poland, Czechoslovakia, and Hungary, Winston Churchill warned of an iron curtain descending across the continent, dividing democracy from communism. President Truman responded with the containment doctrine, determined to stop Soviet expansion at all costs. The Berlin Blockade of 1948 to 1949 became the first major confrontation, Soviet forces strangling West Berlin until American and British aircraft delivered supplies in an unprecedented airlift that saved 2 million civilians from starvation. The Korean War erupted in 1950, pitting communist North Korea against the democratic South, drawing American forces into a brutal 3-year conflict that would claim over 3 million lives and prove the Cold War was far from cold. The Cuban Missile Crisis of October 1962 brought humanity to the nuclear precipice when American spy planes discovered Soviet missile installations just 90 miles from Florida. For 13 agonizing days, President Kennedy and Premier Khrushchev locked in a game of nuclear poker, the world holding its breath as doomsday seemed imminent before Soviet ships finally turned back from the blockade. Vietnam became another proxy battleground, with American soldiers fighting through jungles and rice paddies while the Viet Cong, backed by Moscow and Beijing, waged a devastating insurgency that would ultimately claim 58,000 American lives and over 3 million Vietnamese casualties. The space race captivated global imagination as both superpowers competed for supremacy beyond Earth's atmosphere, Soviets launching Sputnik and Yuri Gagarin into orbit, Americans responding with the triumphant Apollo 11 moon landing in 1969. Meanwhile, the arms race spiraled into madness. Intercontinental ballistic missiles, hydrogen bombs, and the doctrine of mutually assured destruction ensured that global annihilation lurked one decision away. By the 1980s, Ronald Reagan's aggressive posture, calling the Soviet Union an evil empire, combined with Soviet economic stagnation and the disastrous invasion of Afghanistan, began to crack the communist monolith. Then came Mikhail Gorbachev's glasnost and perestroika, reforms meant to save communism, but instead accelerated its collapse. The Berlin Wall fell in November 1989, as jubilant crowds danced atop the concrete barrier that had symbolized division for 28 years. On December 26, 1991, the Soviet Union dissolved into 15 independent republics, ending the Cold War not with the nuclear bang once feared, but with a whimper that left America as the sole remaining superpower and the world forever changed.